listener production.
Hi there, I'm Sasha Barbagat. Welcome to The Briefing. Pet ownership in Australia is booming. There are an estimated 28.7 million pets across the country. In fact, Australia has one of the highest rates of ownership in the world. Millennials and Gen Z are huge drivers of this trend, with young people increasingly choosing to delay having kids and instead choosing to raise a puppy or a kitten. Choosing to add a pet to your life is really exciting, but it also comes with a lot of responsibility. And contrary to common belief, that doesn't begin once you get your furry friend home. It starts when you're deciding where to get your pet from. This week, we saw a puppy farm in Tasmania shut down and 250 dogs seized after the RSPCA accused the facility of overbreeding. Some of these dogs have had no contact with humans at all in their lifetimes. While no charges of animal cruelty have been brought against the owners in this case, we know puppy mills involve the horrible treatment of dogs. So, how can you know if your new furry friend is from one of these places? And how can you spot a bad breeder from a good one? Today we're speaking with Sarah Zito from the RSPCA to find out, and also ask why we should consider rescuing a pet instead of buying one. Sarah, thanks so much for joining us on The Briefing today. How much of the responsibility is on us as owners to ensure we're buying a pet from a responsible breeder?
Sasha, I think everyone has a responsibility, a significant responsibility to do some due diligence when it comes to buying a companion animal. This will not only help people to avoid problems and get a puppy or dog who's happy and healthy, but it will also help to support breeders who are doing the right thing and avoid supporting irresponsible breeders or even puppy farmers. So I think that's really important to all of us.
Let's say someone listening to this has decided they want to take that exciting step and bring a puppy or a kitten into their lives, and they want to do it through a breeder. What are the first steps that they should take?
Well, first of all, I think it's really important that people consider what kind of breed or dog is actually going to suit their lifestyle, their family, their living situation. I think the other thing that's really important is that people recognise that different kinds of dogs have different physical and mental needs. So some need a lot of exercise and a lot of mental stimulation. Working breeds, for example, like a border collie or a kelpie, they need to be doing a lot all of the time because that's what the breed was intended for, whereas other breeds might be more suitable for a lifestyle where they are more confined to a city apartment or something like that. Another thing that people should do, which is really important, is to just make sure that the breeder is licensed by whatever the relevant authority is in their state or territory, and that they meet or exceed all the legal requirements in your jurisdiction. The next thing I would do is to ask loads of questions of the breeder about their dogs, how they keep and care for them, the breed itself, the puppy's specific needs. And they should also ask you lots of questions, because a responsible breeder will really want their dogs to go to a good home and a home that understands the breed and the needs of that specific animals, and is going to provide them with a home that will give them a good life. I think one of the other most important things is that people visit the place where they're getting their animal from. So the breeder obviously has a property where the animal was born and is being kept, and it's vital to ensure that you go there, you see how the animals are being kept, what conditions they're in, and also that you meet their parents, at least their mother, but ideally their father as well, just to make sure that they are happy and healthy, that they're in good condition. You can interact with the puppy themselves and make sure that you get on, as well as making sure that they are happy and healthy. And I really would say, please don't buy a dog or puppy without meeting them first. It's just so important.
I have been through this process, and there's so much information out there. And what you said at the top is right. We have the responsibility, if we decide that we want to get a new pet, to make sure that we are buying them from a reputable breeder. But I was wondering if you could maybe break it down for us into some top red flags that we should look out for when it comes to breeders. What's something that if we see in the process of speaking with them and trying to buy a puppy with them, that if we see that, we should go, no, I'm not going to buy from this breeder?
A huge red flag is if they won't let you come and meet the dog and their parents and see where the puppy's been kept and has been born. If they want to meet you somewhere or arrange delivery when you ask to come and meet the animal at their home or at their breeding establishment, that is a huge red flag, and I would be extremely suspicious if that happens. Also, if the information that they're giving you is very limited, or they dismiss any concerns or questions that you have, I would also be very concerned about that and think about looking elsewhere, and also potentially seeking advice if you're very worried about that particular breeder, to contact the RSPCA or your local authority to raise any concerns that you might have.
What about the flip side? What are some green flags that we can look for and go, oh, okay, I think I'm onto the right track here?
Yeah, well, there are lots of responsible, good breeders out there, and we should be looking for these things to try and help support them. Responsible breeders will be planning ahead and making sure that they are trying to find good homes for every puppy that they breed. And part of that is asking questions of you and making sure that you know what you're getting into and that you will make a good match for the puppy just as much as the puppy will make a good match for you. They should be showing that they're generally concerned about the welfare of their dogs and that they want those dogs to have a good life. I think they should be offering to provide support and information to new owners, again, showing that they're really concerned about their dog's welfare and that they will have a good ongoing life. They should ideally provide a guarantee to take back the puppy within a specified period of time if things don't work out, and things sometimes don't work out, but they should want to take back those puppies and find them a home that is going to suit them. And if in some situations where there is an inherited disorder that happens later on after that sort of specified period, they should be taking back those animals and, again, finding a solution for those animals that's going to work for everyone. I would also be looking for someone who is able to provide references if you ask for them, so people who have got dogs or puppies from them in the past, and also ideally their vet who can talk to you about how well they look after their dogs if they're a responsible breeder.
Look, we talk a lot and we hear a lot, so sadly, about puppy mills and puppy farms. Do the same practices that are extremely irresponsible exist within cat and kitten sales and adoptions?
Unfortunately, they do. It isn't as widely known, but particularly for purebred cats, yes, there are kitten farms or kitten mills, and very similar issues with the cats compared to what we see in dogs in puppy mills.
Do the same rules apply for kittens and cats then? We should follow the same sort of guidelines to spot red flags and green flags?
Yes, it's very similar for cats and kittens, and we do actually have both a smart dog and puppy buyer's guide and a smart kitten and cat buyer's guide that really walks you through all of this kind of information and goes into even more detail about the kinds of questions you'd ask and the kinds of answers that you would be looking for when you actually find a good breeder, so that if people go to our website, they can find those and that will help walk them through the process.
Look, there are lots of reasons that people might choose to buy a puppy or a kitten from a breeder rather than rescue one from a shelter, but we're told so often to adopt, don't shop. We should always be rescuing over buying. Why is that? Why is that message so widely spread?
Well, puppies and dogs and cats and kittens from reputable welfare organisations like the RSPCA have been checked to ensure that they're suitable for adoption. They've been vaccinated, desexed and microchipped, so all of that's already done for you. The staff can also give you good advice about the care of your new companion animal and potentially ongoing support if you need it. Adopting this way also means you're helping those organisations to take care of even more animals in need, so you're giving back as well as helping your own animal. And you also know that you're not supporting a puppy farm or a kitten farm or an irresponsible breeder by adopting. So those are all really good reasons why you might want to adopt. And remember that reputable animal welfare organisations may have puppies and kittens and dogs of specific types and breeds if you are looking for those. There's even sometimes reputable welfare organisations or rescue groups that deal with specific breeds. So if you're looking for a specific breed, you may be able to get that breed in that way. But I think it's just a really great thing to do to give an animal who needs a home, a good home from a reputable animal welfare organisation. And it can also make the process easier for you because a lot of the work involved, so the things like the vaccination and desexing and all that has already been done for you.
I do hear, though, that adopting can be quite difficult. It's quite a process. The reputable welfare organisations want to make sure, like a good breeder would, that the animal is going to a good home that is prepared for it. And I do see quite a lot of people become discouraged by the process. What's the best way to go about it if someone does want to adopt, and what should they be prepared for?
It's, as you said, quite similar to adopting from a good breeder, a responsible breeder. A reputable animal welfare organisation like the RSPCA or a good breeder will want their animal to go to a good home, so they are going to ask you questions. So I think it's important to take your time to think about what kind of dog you're wanting and what kind of dog is going to be right for you and your family and your living situation. Do the research so you know what you need to do to provide them with a home that meets the dog's physical and mental needs and help them live a good life. That means you can be prepared for the questions that you're likely to be asked from either the welfare organisation or the responsible breeder when they're trying to find those good homes. And be as prepared as you can. Speak to your local RSPCA or your reputable animal welfare organisation, get their advice, and they can tell you about dogs and puppies they have who might be a good match for you. And I guess another really good thing is just to listen to that advice, because sometimes we might have ideas about the kind of animal that we want, but they may not be suitable for actually what we imagine our life with that dog to look like. So we might want a dog who will go running and hiking with us, but we like the look of a certain dog who maybe is not physically able to do those things. Or maybe we have an apartment, but we like the look of a working dog, but we don't have the time to give them hours and hours of exercise every day. I think being realistic about those things and taking advice from your vet, from the RSPCA or other rescue group or animal welfare organisation will really help to streamline that process and also make sure that you actually get a dog or a puppy who's going to be that dog of your dreams who you imagined.
As I said, it's really exciting to choose to bring a pet into your life, but it's on all of us to make sure that we're doing the right thing and not supporting those awful places. Sarah Zito, thank you so much for your time and for joining us on The Briefing.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
That was Sarah Zito from the RSPCA speaking to me there. And that is it for this episode of The Briefing. Before you go, maybe you know someone who's in the process of starting to add to their family with a furry friend. Maybe you should share this episode with them so that you can help us out here at The Briefing, but also make sure they know what to look out for. And if you want to keep up with our other content, we are, of course, on Instagram at The Briefing Podcast. We're also on TikTok and YouTube. Search Listener Newsroom. I'm Sasha Barbagat. Thanks for listening and see you next time.
Listener.